Welcome back to Bottomline on Metro TV. And just like I said earlier, today we're going to look at the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And I'm going to go straight into the conversation as I introduce my distinguished guest, who happens to be the president of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Stefan Abbas Mezan. Thank you very much for joining us
Thank
on
you,
Bottomline.
Kwesi.
And good to have you.
This is Kwesi sitting in for Kwesi.
That's interesting.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well, and I hope you're doing well too.
I'm well.
All right, so we're going to start the conversation with your grand plan on transforming the chamber.
Okay. First, give me the opportunity to talk about what the chamber does.
Okay.
And then probably my plan, because I'm the president. But I need to speak about the work of the chamber, then as a president, my vision for the chamber.
Okay.
So
that's
if
fine.
you give me the opportunity.
Sure.
So the chamber operates on 4 major legs. Yes, let me say that. The first one is advocacy. In advocacy, what we do is that we advocate for businesses and industry. So the chamber is the leading voice of the business community. The chamber is backed by an ally, ally 611. And what we do is that we advocate for the business community. So on issues and policies that the government will bring. So what it is that there are issues that government bring that does not go well for the business community. So the chamber's responsibility to advocate for that. It could be issues on taxes, it could be issues on tariffs and all of that for industry as well. Then also we also advocate on issues that the government may not have thought about it. So on issues that the government have brought that affect us, and issues that the governments have not thought about it, then we also bring it to attention of the government. So that's one. The second arm is we do capacity building. So it is our responsibility to build up the capacity of the business community and industry. So on technology, new technologies, new service areas and stuff. So that is one thing that we also do. We also do business-to-business linkages. Okay. So that is business within Ghana, from region to region, even within the same region, and also linking up, putting up partnership between Ghanaian businesses and also foreign businesses. That is the third arm. And then we also do what we call export documentation. For every organization or every industry that exports out of Ghana, there's a requirement we call the certificate of origin. It's only the Chamber of Commerce that issues that certificate of origin. And this is done internationally. Or every chamber of commerce does that for its industry in the country. Okay. So basically that is the mandate of the chamber, to speak for the business community, to bring businesses together, to train them, and also to do export documentation. Having said that, as a leader, one of my ambition has been that to have a stronger voice for the business community. People say that voices can be loud or they can be weak. They can be strong and they can be loud, weak. So for me, my vision is to ensure that we have the chamber has a strong voice and a strong presence within the nation and within our jurisdiction, because this is the only way that the people for whom we are elected to lead will see the benefit of our leadership, to advocate strongly for them on issues that affect their industry. So basically that has been my main focus doing that. Having also been elected president, the chamber has 8 regions. We are in 8 different regions. And my ambition is to also ensure that almost every region has its own office space. Currently, we rent spaces in our regions. So that are things that we are working with all our regional offices to ensure that all of our regional offices would also have their own office space to do that.
All right. So, I mean, you spoke about you having a stronger voice for businesses and also for trade. Let me find out from you some of the impacts you have made so far concerning the vision that you've just outlined in front of all of us. Some of the impacts that you have made over the years.
Okay, so in the very recent times, we had advocated for the reduction in the base rates, in the reference rates. We advocated for that. The governor of Bank of Ghana did listen to that. Very recently, we had issues with VAT because it wasn't properly aligned. So we had opportunity to present our case to IMF when they came, and also to the finance minister. So that is what we have seen as resulting in what recently in the delivery of the budget. And also we spoke strongly against what do you call it, the COVID levy, which has also resulted in that. As a chamber, we have a lot of relationship with neighboring countries. So I'll take a very good example. I give an example as Burkina Faso. They ship through here because it's an inland country. And some of their challenges were the country charging VAT, charging NHIS, charging COVID. So, and they had legitimate concern because VAT is supposed to be charged for products in the country.
Yeah.
So if they are not consuming it or processing it, you can't charge them VAT.
That's true.
If they are not benefiting from our health insurance, then you can't charge them NHIS on their import. Okay, and also COVID had elapsed. We didn't need there was no reason in charging COVID. So all these are things that we have advocated for that we've seen the results recently.
All right. So now we're going to look at the 24-hour economy implementation. What has the chamber done so far to help with the success of it?
Okay, so we can't say success because it's still in process. But we want to present our support for it. First of all, I think it's a brilliant, fantastic idea. But also, in which direction are we going? And for me, I've always advocated that we need to identify, is it in the service area? And I will cite Dubai as a country, which is running its economy 24 hours in the service area. Is it in the industry area? And outside China as a country, where we all know that China is the factory of the world because it is working 24 hours. In those two scenarios, I believe that to make it properly work, we need to take the Chinese model, in the sense that we have everything that will make it work, starting from agriculture. Okay? When we decide that we are going to turn every fruit, every agricultural produce into, from the traditional way that you use it, into a proper finished good that can be exported. That is industry working this thing. We have natural resources. And I have advocated so many times on different platforms. There's no reason why, as a country, over 68 years as a country, over 100 years that the white man came here, we still export that. So for me, very recently, the President My Excellency went to China, and then there was the negotiation to have the zero tariff. And it's a good move. But I am saying that because we need to transform all of our natural resources and our agri-produce, that tariff should rather go more on machinery and tools that can help us to expand industry, create more factories, okay? Because there's no reason why if somebody is bringing a luxurious car, it's taxed. And if somebody is bringing machinery to turn bauxite into iron, it's also taxed on the tools, on those tools. So that is there. So yes, our focus in achieving a 24-hour economy in progress until infinity is to focus on industry. But on what model? Is it the service industry or the manufacturing? And I want to advocate for that.
And you advocate for the China model. But then let me check out on this one. You spoke about the fact that we would have to look at the Chinese model, and then secondly, we have the resources. Let me ask you, do you think the implementation and when it comes to maintenance, we have the capacity to actually run this successfully?
There's no doubt. We have a huge, by demographics, we have a huge youth population who are largely educated. So then it means they are adaptable. They can adapt to new technologies. So there's no doubt. We have a very stable political environment. We are over 30 32 years or 33 years in stable democracy. So there's no doubt that we can't achieve a 24-hour economy. So I believe that yes, once we put in the modalities are put in rightly, and we as a people buy into it and want to follow it and not be partisan about it, then obviously there's no way we cannot achieve it. You see, I have always come to the belief that there's nothing a man can do unless you tell yourself that you can't do it.
That's
so
true.
Once we put our mind to it that we can do it, once we understand that it is for the good of our own people, and therefore we want to ensure it's done, we will do it. Okay? The economies that we see, the developed economies that we see, also started like we are.
And they're moving on.
And they moved on. Okay? So it's because the people bought into it. And then they've made it possible. So there's no reason why we cannot do it. There's no reason.
All right. So let's look at some challenges that you think you can list out that need immediate attention when it comes to trade and industry. Some challenges.
Okay, so first of all, for me, my greatest challenge I always pronounce is access to funding. So now the government, the finance ministry could be touting itself of trying to bring the reference rate down and all of that. It's true. The reference rate has come down. But if you have no access to it, then it really does not make sense. Something is cheap, but you can't get it. How does that make sense? It doesn't.
It doesn't at all.
No, at all. So it is not just the point of putting every effort to bring the cost of the fund down, but also access. And in accessing it's the impediments the financial institutions put in so that the business community cannot even get a fund. Also, on the other side is that instead of the financial institutions making it possible for the business community to access that fund, they prefer to go and to be on the capital market. So what it is that the government itself has to lead the capital market and rather partner the private sector in terms of its development. So if it is hospitals that the government wants to develop for communities, they have private partners that you can engage. If there are roads that the government wants to develop, there are private partners in the public space that you can partner with. Okay? If there are schools, there are private partners. So when the government itself decides that, look, I'm going to go into partnership with the private sector and put up infrastructure, it allows the banks to make funding available for the private sector. So then you get it at a cheap cost, and you get it accessibility becomes accessible.
Do you think do you think there is willingness between the government and the private sector to actually work together?
Government is supposed to provide an enabling environment for the business, for the private sector. So that is the first step. Providing an enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. So the government has no business doing business. That's one. I believe this government is doing well. And it is all of this advice and contribution to it that we believe that when they listen, they can come and work with the private sector. So I believe that the opportunities are there for the government to work with the private sector.
Yeah, right. So that's beautiful to know. And I'm hoping that it goes a long way to actually help us to advance. But then let's look at technology. Do you think industries in Ghana are really using it well to actually help us to advance and grow as an economy?
First of all, we do not have the technology. Okay? So I am talking about transformation of raw materials into finished good. We do not have the technology. So that is why we have to avail ourselves to be able to bring that technology at a cheaper rate for industry. Okay? Now we come to advanced technology as in AI. We have the youth who today are more knowledgeable in those areas and adaptable. India has done this thing already. India now, there's no big organization in the world that you don't see an Indian. It's because as a country they focus on that. That look, let's train our youth, let it so that it can be an exportable service. Just like now, Ghana is trying to export the services of nurses.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can also export the services of IT personalities. Okay, people who are knowledgeable in that area. So yes, in terms of industry, we need to open up. We need to put in measures and policies that will allow us to be able to bring in technology for the transformation of our raw materials, both agri and natural resources. Okay, out of the ground, and also the service area. So education, how are we bringing professionals in? Could it be teachers that we are doing mass and export that service? Is it nursing that we are exporting mass to provide that service? Is it law? Is it marketing? All of that. So yes, we have the capacity to do all of these things, but it is always the direction that we want to go as a country. It is also as how we as a people are buying into the vision of our leaders, and not to make it so partisan that even when it is a good idea, we don't want to support it. So I'll take that back to the idea of free SHS. It's a good idea. So how do we support it to make it better? The idea of a 24-hour economy, how do we support it to make it better? So those are the things that are important for us as citizens of a nation to understand the direction our leaders want to take us to, and not be too partisan about it. Once we think nationalistic, that is the way that is going to make us a prosperous nation.
You talked about natural resources, which it's clear to all of us that we have enough of it. But these days, there's a decline of how we, as citizens of this country, we're even using it. And even the few of us that are really into the natural resources and producing from it, we bypass the country to other countries because we're looking at the prices of how these things should be transacted, or how these goods and services that we render should be transacted. Do you think it's something that we are not regulating enough to actually harness the potential of it?
Yes, exactly. So it's an issue of regulation. So in agri area, our natural resource could be cocoa, rubber, and stuff. Very recently, we have done a lot of advocacy on behalf of the rubber industry, where they were complaining about the government having a policy that is allowing people to buy the rubber in its raw state and export. For which reason, the local industries are not getting enough feed, for which reason they have to shut down some of their distance. The same is with cocoa, okay, where we are always competing with Ivory Coast, where even a country like Togo, which is not known for cocoa production or exports, is also getting recognition. How is it so? Ivory Coast is getting anonymous because they are getting some extras from Ghana. Togo is getting that recognition because they're also getting the produce from Ghana. So what is the reason? It's most likely policy. It's also most likely prices and stuff. Having said that, why should we even export all of the cocoa when industry is not even getting the feed? So why don't we say that before the cocoa even goes out, it is processed? So that way, other investors would invest in the factories or that will process the cocoa. So for me, that is how it is. So it's policy. Why should Ivory Coast be getting more cocoa additionally from Ghana? Why should even Togo be recognized as a cocoa exporting company? So it's policy, and that's one of the things that the government has to look at very well.
Talking about policy, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, you have a strong voice when it comes to industries and trade in this country. What are you also doing on your part to make the government hear you? Because I believe strongly that from the things that you shared with us so far concerning the organization and what you do, the chamber particularly, you have a way of making sure that these things are laid down so that industries and entrepreneurs and so on can follow suit and then help us grow.
Okay. So some of the things that we are doing is availing ourselves, first of all, to these opportunities like this. Like I said from the beginning, our core mandate is advocacy.
Yeah.
So we identify the issues that are worrying industry. We do strong advocacy on that. So in the not too long distance time ago, we had advocated for duty drawback. The duty drawback meant that the industries that imported raw material to process and export. They pay a duty, and then once you export it out, you need to cash out that duty, because once it's for export, then you need to cash that duty back. So we needed to do a lot of advocacy. Having said that, there are occasions that we brought issues to the government. So I'll give you a typical example. Very recently, the Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry had announced on the floor of Parliament the cessation of the one district, one factory policy.
Yeah.
And it's quite understanding. It's understanding because it's a policy of a different government, of the past government. Now, the policy of this government is 24-hour economy. But for us, because we believe that in as much as the policy of a past government, the industries are Ghanaian industries.
That's true.
You understand? Mm-hmm. So here, politics does not come in. So as a chamber, we have taken the lead to advocate that the government looks at, even though you would have cancelled that policy, you just still need to absorb those industries into your new policy, a 24-hour.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yes. So we have started doing advocacy. We have met with the Minister for Trade and Agribusiness to listen to her. We are here to meet with the investors, with the industrialists, which is the industrialists under the one district, one factory, to also understand them. So once, like a chief, you don't make a judgment on one side. So we've listened to the Minister for Trade. We've visited him. We are here to meet the one district, one factory players in December, listen to them, and we see how we can advocate their issue and bring this to Israel so that they can be transferred move from this policy under the new policy to provide, because whatever they are doing, they are also doing for the Ghanaian public. Okay, they are providing jobs for the Ghanaian public. They are paying taxes to the government to provide services to us like roads and hospitals and all of that. So yes, that is one major thing that we are doing, and we believe that once we are having listened to them, and we all come together to approach the minister and therefore the government, something can be done about that.
That's great to know. All right, so Mr. Stefan Meza, we're going to go for a short break, and when we come back, we're going to look at the 2026 budget, the implications, and also the way forward for trade and industry. All right, so we're going to go for a short break. When we come back, we get into that conversation.